It's Madden NFL 22, and we've got a showdown in the NFC North. It's the Bears and the Vikings, and it's coming up next.
Spread between 4th and 6th Streets in downtown Minneapolis, we welcome you inside spacious U.S. Bank Stadium. It can certainly get loud inside this building, and just a few moments ago when the Vikings were introduced, it was downright shaking in here. They're set for football as the Vikings get ready to do battle with the Chicago Bears. Brandon Gaudin joined as always by Charles Davis. Well, CD, you look at the Bears in this one. Their offense is one that doesn't rely too heavily on just one guy. They like to spread things around as best they can.
You're right about that. As a diverse unit, and they like to run their offense by what they call game plan, meaning each and every week they study the opponent, they probe its weaknesses, and they move the ball around that way. They emphasize who's going to get it based on what they think they'll accomplish in that game. Other teams, they're a system team. They're going to run what they run no matter what. I like this style of offense. It suits them well.
Joseph now ready to get this one started, and we are underway from Minneapolis. Jakeem Grant now to return. And a decent return out to the 27-yard line. So here are the Bears now for their opening drive. They'll be led by a longtime starter in this league in his 11th season now, the Red Rifle, Andy Dalton.
I love his football IQ. I love his ability to have people rally around him. And as he likes to remind me all the time when I get ready to call one of his games, I can run it a little bit too. A nice presence to have on your team.
Dalton, 1st and 10. Throw left side complete. That's Montgomery. And he's going to be taken down right at the line. Call it no gain on the game's first play. And it's 2nd down now.
Well, that's a simple throw and catch, but even with that completion, 0 yards gained, so they're behind schedule on down and distance.
I think they were hoping to get it to him. He could make a man or two miss, but that window closed quickly. Throwing again on 2nd down. Dalton. And that's going to be too high. Out of bounds and incomplete.
A deep ball down that right sideline, and he made sure that he put it where either his guy was going to catch it or no one was.
So now an early 3rd and 10 here on their opening drive. Out of the gun, it's Dalton. He's going to float this one deep right side. And this is caught right along the sideline. What a job of keeping the toes in bounds there. A huge play there for Chicago. But he's been doing this for a lot of years. The arm strength still there, and he showed it off on that one.
Well, one way or the other, you knew they'd have to push the ball downfield on 3rd and long. But I'm not sure the defense was expecting to push it that far downfield. Their math didn't add up, but it certainly did for the offense.
And the final number on that throw, boy, it traveled an even 69 yards. Dalton operating in the red zone now. And it's incomplete.
And I could see the officials kind of looking at each other down there, silently wondering, does this meet the level of grounding? Fortunately, he did have a receiver in the area, but I have seen less obvious throwaways called as penalties.
So after the incompletion on first, now 2nd and 10. First carry now for David Montgomery. And he's brought down just outside of the 10 at the 11. They get 6. That'll leave them with 3rd and 4.
A quick burst there, and he nicely bit off a pretty decent gain.
An extra defender in the secondary for the Vikings here on 3rd down. To throw here, Dalton. And he will find his man on the end round, complete. And boy, he is very close to a first down, but from where they're spotting that football, he's going to be a foot or so short.
Well, we hear so often how tackling has become almost a lost art in the NFL game, but it's so important to tackle well on these receivers, especially in a play like this one. 3rd down, they gave him the underneath stuff. You got to go up and make the tackle right away.
On is Santos for the Bears field goal. This just a 24-yard attempt. Santos' kick is up and through, and it's 3-0. The Bears hit the scoreboard first. Had just the one big play on the drive, but that was enough to put them in field goal range.
Yeah, one big play of what they hope will be many others throughout the game. Every team has a different target for the number of plays like that, those explosives that we talk about. That allowed them to put points on the board on that drive. Let's see how the rest of the game goes.
After the made field goal, Santos back out there to kick it away. Kene Nwangwu now out of his end zone. And that decision to bring it out ends up not being a good one. Costs him about 5 yards as he's tackled at the 20. Minnesota's offense and QB Kirk Cousins set to go here.
Not bad for a 4th-round draft pick. Well over 100 career starts now. And the chemistry with his top targets, really on point. They spend a lot of time in practice and after practice making sure the routes are run well, and he knows exactly where they're going to be on the field. And when they get open, he delivers.
Cousins and the Vikings with a 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line. Now the first carry for Dalvin Cook. And he'll work this forward for about 3 at 2nd down.
But that's just a pile of bodies there, and that's when you kind of find out who's a tough guy, right? Who can stand up and make a play. It was only a 3-yard run, but for both sides, they had to walk away from that feeling like, okay, I can stand up when the going gets tough in here.
On 2nd down, it's Cook again. A 1-yard gain there following the 3-yard pickup on 1st down.
And the big fella stuffed that one up in a big way. I think doubling him has to be a priority because you can't move up to the next level if you don't take care of him first.
So now at 3rd and 7, and defensively, it's a dime look, 6 DBs. From the gun, here's Cousins. Oh, going for Jefferson downfield, and that will be incomplete. Well, they weren't scared to let it fly, but it falls to the ground and brings up 4th down.
There is something to a game plan with trying to keep a defense honest. With a guy with that type of speed, you do so. Send him deep, try and throw some air under it, and hope you connect downfield. On that play, they were unsuccessful.
And on 4th down, on is the punt team sending this one away. 37 yards on the punt with no return. And the Bears take over. Chicago works their way back onto the field here for their 2nd drive of the game. They've got a 3-0 lead and the football as they start 1st and 10. So Dalton now. He finds Robinson. And able to get this one across the 45 before he's brought down.
I I think that's a big pickup for a first down because when you run a drag route against zone, you're sometimes asking for trouble because you might run into a defender.
Yeah, well, there they ran into a first down, executed it to perfection. First and 10 for Dalton. Gonna let one fly for Robinson. And that is incomplete.
I think that was good strategy there, trying to go right back to him after the last completion. But this time, the defense was all over him, and they got there to break that one up.
Second and 10. Now Dalton. Well, that'll be incomplete. Well, he took a shot as he let that go. And it's going to bring up a third down.
The good signal callers will never go back in the huddle and play the blame game because they need those guys to protect him. But on that last one, his offensive line, they lost their leverage very quickly, and that's why they were able to get to him and hit him as he tried to throw the football and force an incompletion.
And it'll be Dalton again. And now another one thrown incomplete.
It certainly didn't appear that that's where he wanted to go with the ball initially, so he tried to get something out of it by dumping it off to his running back unsuccessfully. So on fourth down, on is the punter, Pat O'Donnell, to kick it away.
Back deep, D.D. Westbrook. Calls for the fair catch, makes the fair catch just inside the 15-yard line. It'll wind up just a 35-yard punt, no return. And the Vikings will be backed up deep to begin their drive as they take over first and 10.
Cousins and the Vikings with a first and 10 at their own 14-yard line.
He'll start by handing it off to Dalvin Cook. And he'll get this up to the 30-yard line.
That's a nice run right there, able to get to the outside, and so many times defenses say, okay, we got you hemmed in. But if you're running the football, at least you know where everyone is coming from. You don't have to worry about the backside at all. That allows you to run with a little bit more confidence as you traverse down the field.
So first and 10 now from the 30. Working out of the gun, Cousins. And that's complete to K.J. Osborne. And down he goes, but he takes it up to the 40.
But one of the ways the quarterbacks keep all the receivers alive in a play, never lock in on any one guy. Make sure you keep your eyes moving, scan the field. And here he finds the open guy for a nice pickup.
Back-to-back good plays have him on the move on first down. Cousins gives way to Cook. And he'll work this forward for about 3 at second down.
Yeah, I don't know if it's exactly a win-win, but if you're on offense, you'll take that kind of a run, all right? It was kind of stacked up, found a little bit of yardage, and frankly, they're pretty close to staying on schedule on offense. The playbook is still open for the coordinator.
The last run got 3. Now here's second and 7. A give. This is Cook. And he'll get this out past the 45 to the 47. They're still about 3 yards shy of a first as the 4-yard pickup brings it to third down. Typically, we think it's the strong safeties that are better tacklers, especially closer to the line of scrimmage amidst traffic. But in this case, how about the free safety coming up and making the big-time play? They'll run it. Here's Cook. And he's got the first down yardage there as he takes it just across midfield.
I think they like this drive a little bit better there, partner. Running game helping out, picking up some of the slack. Because remember the last drive, they went 3 and out.
territory now. This is 1st and 10 at the 49-yard line. Play action now. Cousins.
Rifles one, that's going to be intercepted.
Eddie Jackson picks it. There he goes, right side. And they will score a pick 6 for a Bears touchdown.
Did I just see what I thought I saw? Did I just see what I thought? That had to be. Come on, say it for me. Say it for me. Who picked up that pass?
The free safety.
Oh, you got to have those great skills back there. Eyes, anticipation, great hands. And, of course, how about the fluid moves afterwards to take it all the way to the house?
Sounds like you're watching your old game film up here in your head.
Yeah, that's the dream I had of being that player. I just never was.
Cairo Santos on to try the extra point. He's got it, and now it's a 10-0 lead here in the opening quarter. A heck of a play there defensively, getting the interception, navigating his way into the end zone for the touchdown.
So an early 10-0 lead for them now as they kick it away. This will be fielded inside the 5. And he takes this near the 25. Just a little pass there. Call it the 26.
Now the Vikings offense gets set to take over here. And last time, decent field position through the pick 6. Obviously costly.
But they can't afford to just bunker in now. All right, good field position means go ahead and attack on offense. Try and press the advantage a little bit. They just have to be better with the football on this possession.
So that didn't bother you too much last time?
No, because it's exactly what you're supposed to do. You can't have good field position, not try to take advantage of it. Sometimes the defense makes a good play too.
They start the drive with Cook. Gets around him. He takes this for 3 to the 29.
Give credit to the defense for stringing that play out, and they gave up no cutback angle. You know he was trying to dart through. No place for him to go. A nice job there, only giving up a 3-yard gain.
3 yards on that last carry. Here's 2nd and 7. From the shotgun, it's Cousins. And able to get this one across the 45 before he's brought down.
Let's go. You can almost hear the sigh of relief coming from their sideline and from their point on the field because this has been a tough start for them thus far. A much-needed first down there. They needed something good to happen. Plays like that will continue to help them dig out of this hole.
They go play action. Cousins. Pressure, and he's taken down. A Bear sack. They'll wind up losing 8 on the sack there, and it's 2nd down.
Not the start to this one that any quarterback would want or envision. Remember, he had the pick 6, and here he ends up on his backside.
And you have to wonder to yourself, okay, after throwing the pick 6, did he get too careful with the football and not deliver downfield and take that sack? They've got to make sure that he's really into this game.
Well behind the sticks here with a 2nd and 18.
From the gun, it's a give to Cook. And they won't fare much better here as he maybe gets back to the line. No gain on the play this time, and it'll be a 3rd and long situation coming up.
I know that speed is the hallmark of today's NFL game, but the key to good rushing defense is still having your linebackers set the edge.
So it's 3rd and long, and defensively not a real surprise. They're in the dime. To throw, Cousins. And he can't escape, and down he goes. Robert Quinn gets in there to drop him for a loss of 13 yards, and it's also 4th down now.
Well, we knew this guy wasn't especially fleet of foot, but he tried to conjure up some escapability, but there was no way he was getting away on that one.
Here's Jordan Berry now, as he'll kick it away for the 2nd time. It'll be 37 yards there on the punt, and out will come the offense as they take over. And now Chicago getting ready to go as they take the field. The crowd may be losing just a little bit of the edge after back-to-back punts.
They want some big plays. They want to see some offense. They want to see somebody break away, whether it's through the air or on the ground. Now it'll be interesting to see where the patience is on both sides. Each head coach, can you hang in there and not try and force something that could put your team in some jeopardy?
From the 32 now, here's 1st and 10. To Montgomery to begin the drive. The broken tackle, but couldn't create much space. Down just beyond the 35. Xavier Woods, the free safety, up to make the tackle.
I feel like I could see what he was thinking on that carry. Wanted to follow that big tackle through the hole. Ended up only getting 4 yards on the carry. I think he had designs on that one being bigger.
To throw on 2nd and 6, Dalton. And this will be caught by Mooney.
This has to go down as one of the simpler routes in the playbook, but oh so effective. Nice completion there. Keeps the sticks moving.
On 1st and 10, here's Andy Dalton. This one swung out to Montgomery. And he'll take it down shy of the 45 at the 46.
Just about every quarterback is trained to really look downfield first before you come back and make a nice, safe throw. And in this case, that's exactly what he did. Found his running back, let him create some space, and it turned out to be a nice play for the offense.
On 2nd down, it's Montgomery, and he'll be taken down at the 44-yard line.
2nd and inches is oftentimes an invitation for an offense coordinator to take a big shot downfield because he feels like he can come back on 3rd down and pick up the 1st down. But sometimes you just don't want to break tendency. Stay with what you are, stay with who you know, and go get the 1st down. That's exactly what they did.
Now Dalton with a 1st and 10.
That's complete to Mooney.
And he's taken down inside the 30.
We got this. It's a gain of 17 yards. Here we go.
10-0 the score after one on EA Sports. The Bears with the football. We get set to begin quarter number 2 as they've got it with a 1st and 10. From the gun, Dalton looks to throw.
There's Mooney with another catch.
And inside the 20 before he's brought down.
That's the 3rd time on this drive that these two have connected with each other. They've got a real rapport going. And right now, it's paying off with big chunks of yardage, as shown by that last play.
So from inside the 20, here's 1st and 10 at the 18. Montgomery back to the ground. And he'll go down here at the 12-yard line. 5 yards is the tally on 1st down. That brings up 2nd and 5.
That's a strong pickup right there on 1st down. And as this drive goes on, we're seeing an offensive line and running game imposing its will.
2nd and 5. Handoff comes to Montgomery. And he'll be brought down this time at the 5-yard line.
We use the word relentless a lot with guys who are aggressive on the field. In this case, it really fits, doesn't it? How about his ability to break tackles and his feet never stop moving?
Here's Dalton. Under pressure now, and he's going to go down. Sack back around the 8. Dalvin Tomlinson able to get him for a loss of about 3.
On any 1st and goal, the real estate to work with for the offense is really cut down, and the defense knows it. So they often bring heat and pressure, which they did on this play. Got him down for a loss. Not a big one, but any loss of yardage in this position is tough for an offense.
It's 2nd and goal, back to the 8-yard line now. Dalton now to pass. He's got it. A touchdown saving tackle there. Now it's 3rd and goal.
Not a big window to throw. Coverage wasn't too bad there.
Yeah, they had him under wraps pretty well, but somehow able to muscle his way open and catch the ball.
They've been denied touchdowns in the red zone twice already. Here comes 3rd and goal. Look at this, a tight end carry. And he will fight his way in. Not giving up there, and he's got a Bears touchdown. J.P. Holtz punching it in from a yard away as the Bears push further out in front.
That score is not a game clincher by any stretch of the imagination, but the other team now has to be careful to not let this game begin to slip away.
Santos now to add the PAT. He's got it, and it's 17-0. So that one a long 11-play drive, and it ends with a 1-yard touchdown run. Now, after the touchdown, here's Santos to kick this one away.
This fielded right at the goal line. And his guys will get the football right at the 20-yard line.
Vikings take over 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard.
Kirk Cousins now gearing up to lead this offense back out there. He's got to dig deep here, doesn't he? Team's losing. He's not playing well either.
And they always tell you, don't press. You'll make things a little bit worse. But in this particular situation, you try and heighten your play a little bit. So far, he's thrown 1 interception. He wants to balance that off with at least 1 touchdown pass in order to get his team back moving forward.
Cousins and the Vikings with a 1st and 10 at the 20. Here's Cook as they begin on the ground. The tackle by Robert Quinn.
Well, it's time for them to be good teammates right here, and what I mean by that is possess the ball for a little while. Get at least 2 first downs. Give their defense a chance to settle down a little bit after they give up a touchdown.
Now it's 2nd and 9.
Cousins now. A throw left side complete to his receiver Westbrook.
And he takes us up to the 40-yard line before being corralled.
And this was a nice example of an offensive coordinator scheming his guy open. Just a little underneath route, just trying to free up some space, and it worked awfully well. Got him not just space, but plenty of room to run after the catch to pick up really nice yardage.
Cousins now to throw on first down. And he'll go down. The Bears get there for the sack. Akeem Hicks, credit him with a sack, and it goes as a loss of 6.
These sacks now, they're starting to pile up, Charles. And that front seven defensively, they've had their way with this offensive line.
And I think at this stage, we have to start thinking about different play calls. We've got to start helping this quarterback out because the entire game he's been under siege. I don't care what the down and distance. They've got to get the ball out of his hands a lot quicker.
To try again after the sack. Cousins.
Oh, going for Jefferson downfield. And this is going to be dropped. Oh, my gracious. There was no one in his area code, but he could not hang on to it.
And attempted a deep ball there. They didn't get it. But, boy, they're going to need a few of those to actually hit in order to get back into this game.
Good thing they do have a little bit of time here still left in the contest. Decent-sized deficit, but not one that they can't manage. Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. Now the hit comes, and Cousins lost the football.
Sacked. A fumble on the play.
Offensively lucky they're able to keep the football, but now 4th down, so they'll have to boot it away.
I do think, though, they're going to look at this as a positive. 1, they recovered the fumble, so they retained possession. But 2, being able to punt it changes field position for them. Imagine if that turnover takes place there. Now your defense has to go onto the field and try and hold. Instead, they get a little breathing room.
Here's Jordan Berry now as he's on to punt for Minnesota. He's been a busy man here in this first half as he gets it away. That'll be a 41-yard punt, just 1 yard on the return. And the offense will take over with a new set of downs.
Another drive coming up for this Chicago offense.
And they're hoping to redo their efforts in the last drive when they got into the end zone.
And just think of what it's like now on the sideline, because when you score a touchdown, you have to go over and look at the tablet and see what you did on the last drive. When you scored points, it's a whole lot better view than when you're trying to figure out how to fix things there.
The Bears in good field position to start out 1st and 10 at their own 37. Passing, it's Dalton. Quick hitter here, it's complete. And this will be stopped at the 44. That one good for 7 yards.
Timing is so important on a route like this because he's going to line up out right and then cut straight across the field. I think the ball might have come out a count or two too late because by the time he was able to secure it, not much of a chance to turn it upfield.
On 2nd down now. It's Montgomery. And he'll be brought down just shy of midfield at the 49-yard line.
And there we saw one of the downsides of blitzing during a rundown because sometimes you get out of your gaps. You don't fit the run quite as well because you're headed towards the ball carrier with abandon.
Now Montgomery. And if there was a lane there, it closed up quickly as he stopped for no gain. 2nd down.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is a force of nature at the defensive tackle position. Yes, he's as big as they come, but still plenty agile. He's able to make a nice play there to swallow up the ball carrier.
Officially nothing on that last run. They'll try again 2nd and 10. From the gun, it's a give to Montgomery. And he's got it across the midfield stripe and into Viking territory. 5 yards, now it's 3rd and 5.
Frustrating for a defense, energizing for an offense. Finding a way to create that type of yardage in your running game, that'll make the guys carrying the ball very, very happy.
The Bears on third down. They've hit 2 for 4 thus far. This will be 3rd and 5. Dalton here from the gun. And he's caught on the sideline, but he's not going to have a first down. They say he was out of bounds. So a big call there that brings up 4th. That is the first time that they've targeted him that he has not come down with a catch.
He's caught everything that's been thrown his way, a dominant pass receiver that can break down any defense, because when he's doing that kind of work, it really hurts you on the back end.
And even though it's an incompletion there, I think they're going back to that well. O'Donnell, he's on to punt as he gets this one away. And this one goes angling out of bounds, and it will be spotted inside the 30-yard line. Kirk Cousins and the Vikings offense back on the field. And he has not really been able to have a lot of comfort back there in the pocket. Pressure's been coming at him a lot, hasn't it?
And they've got to figure out how to tamp down that pressure. How do they decrease it? Is it getting rid of the football quicker? You know, shorter drops? Maybe they do something different with their pass blocking and their protection schemes. Maybe you meet them on the line of scrimmage instead of retreating to try and protect your quarterback. They've got to figure something out, though, because you cannot let your guy get hit that much, not if you intend to win.
Yeah, I know they'd like to erase that video and those 4 sacks that they've seen so far. Cousins on first down. He'll get this over to Westbrook. It's complete. That catch good for only a couple. They should have got more out of that, though. He was wide open.
I love how emphatic you are with that call, because that's exactly what I was thinking. Wide open in the flat. Give him a ball that he can use to get upfield with, not just catch and go over the sideline. They cost themselves some yardage there.
Looking to throw again on second down. Cousins. That's complete to Justin Jefferson. That'll go for a gain of 7. And they'll be faced with a 3rd and inches.
That's tough to play zone defense when they can just curl up right there in front of you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we talk about finding the soft spot. Defensively, how do you make sure they don't find the soft spot like they did there?
Tough to do, because what they normally will do is run routes that'll pull you out of that spot that they want to get into. That's what we call not taking the cheese, right? Don't go for the mousetrap. But it's hard to do, because when you see a guy cutting that in that direction, you tend to go towards him. And they really needed to get something going, didn't they? They had punted on the last 2 possessions. The running game starting to come to the front for them, providing a nice pickup there to keep this drive going.
They run again on first down. Cook. And he'll get this out past the 45 to the 47. 43 yards rushing for him now to this point.
Well, I think after that run, the defense is getting back in the huddle and looking at each other and maybe starting to question their confidence a bit. They gave up a significant run, 6 yards, and now you're saying to yourself, how do we stop them, and do I have enough confidence to make a play?
On second down, Cook. And this one goes nowhere. Losing yardage on the play back at the 46. Call that a loss of a yard, and things get a little more difficult here. 3rd and 5.
We think, Brandon, I like the intensity this defense is showing right here in these first few drives. They're not just holding the line because they're doing their job, but they're doing more than that, aren't they? They're getting a nice push into the offensive backfield.
And a great example right there for the loss on the tackle. The Vikings on third down, 2 for 5 to this point. This will be 3rd and 5. Now Cousins. And able to catch it on the left sideline, but they're going to rule him out of bounds. So it'll be incomplete, certainly one they'd like to have back as it brings up 4th down.
Well, this first half has not gone according to plan so far offensively, or even defensively for that matter. They could use a big-time spark somewhere, but it's not going to come on this drive as they have to punt this one away.
Barry on to punt as he gets this one away. And great special teams work here. This is knocking on the door of the 5. They'll spot it at the 6-yard line.
Well, someone's going to be happy with that effort. You know who else is going to be happy? His defense.
Absolutely.
He created a very long field for that offense to try to traverse.
And he got some help from Mr. Football there, checking up nicely. Good English on that punt. They'll start on the ground with Montgomery. And he's going to take this ahead for right around 3 yards, but no more than that. Second down.
Look, all any running back wants is a little bit of room, a little bit of space in order to maneuver. But he also understands how difficult it is for his offensive line up front. So if they give him any space, he realizes his job to make more out of it than what they give him. Picks up 3 on that carry.
And he's going to go down right near the goal line. The officials look at each other. They're going to mark him at the 1-yard line. DJ Waddle. It'll go as a loss of about 8 as he gets in there to drop him. After the sack, they'll come up now 3rd and long.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see them run the ball here just to try and get some space.
And indeed, that's what they'll do as they run it here. And not much there as he gets it up to about the 5-yard line. And we've hit the 2-minute mark in this first half of action. Here's Pat O'Donnell now as he's on to punt for Chicago. And he'll just punch it out of there, and it's not a great kick. 39 yards on the punt, give him just 1 yard on the return. And the Vikings will take over here 1st and 10. And you see Dalvin Cook and the offense heading back out. He's been good. They've utilized him well, but they're losing here in the second quarter. What might they change offensively?
I think that what you try and do is expand how you get the ball to him a little bit. Get him out in open space, maybe swing the ball to him. What's that they used to call in the West Coast offense, the long handoff? Yeah. Serve as your running play that way, as well as continue to feed him the football. Some of these runs now may pop bigger later in the game because of the effects of running it. Sometimes people, after a while, they don't want to tackle him anymore, or they get tired, or they get out of position, or he runs.
Got a man, it's caught inside the 10. And finally out of bounds just inside the 10. A big play there for Minnesota. Sometimes you just got to marvel at how these guys can throw the football. He gave that everything he had, and it was right on the money.
And to be honest, this first half hasn't been anything they'd be really proud about. So they needed something like this to change their fortunes. Now they need to make sure they finish this one off, not just with points, but with a touchdown.
And the final number of the next-gen stats, that ball traveling a full 59 yards through the air. So that challenge, a successful one. Here's 2nd and 10. From the gun, here's Cousins. To Jefferson on the slant. And they'll get him down as he's inside the 40.
Now that's the kind of big play you'd like to see. This first half, it hasn't gone their way, and they could use a shot in the arm, something to perk them up a bit. And they get one here in the passing game.
So from the 39 now, they'll come up on a 1st and 10. Cousins to throw it. And that'll be incomplete.
This defense has been very disruptive early on as they force another one to go awry.
Seems to be the front and the back end. Pass rush, they've been able to get home, and they're taking the ball away in coverage as well.
I love how you put it together. The front and back working in sync, only way to play good defense.
An incomplete pass on 1st down. That leads to a 2nd and 10. Throwing is Cousins. They're able to complete this one to Tyler Conklin. And they'll wind up getting this one all the way down inside the 20.
When you get a big tight end like this, sometimes it takes more than one man to bring him down. Oftentimes, your best bet, just jump on and hold on and wait for your teammates to arrive to help get him on the ground.
The Vikings going to signal for the first of their timeouts. as they'll stop it with just over a minute to go before halftime. First red zone chance now for the Vikings. 1st and 10 at the 19. They'll throw again. Cousins toward the end zone, but that's going to wind up incomplete.
To this point, I've been impressed with the work defensively. They have not allowed a lot of receivers to run free. And there's another example, another incompletion.
So they'll come up after the incompletion for 2nd down. Cousins. Pass incomplete.
I tell you, Brandon, this defense is playing with some confidence. Haven't allowed a point yet. Flying to the football. I'm telling you, there's almost 11 to the ball on every snap. Another nice job there to force an incompletion.
So back-to-back incompletions, and that has them staring at a 3rd and 10. Throwing, Cousins. Pressure applied, and he's going to be taken down. They sack him back at the 33-yard line. Now the Vikings will send out the special teams crew here for a field goal try. From the left hash, it's an even 50-yard attempt. Joseph's got it. And they're on the board at least here. It's now 17-3. So they wind up turning the turnover into points as they convert there for 3.
Yeah, that was a nice job there to force the fumble. They recover, hand things over to their offense, and then the offense went down and got them 3. That alone, that's not enough to win a game, but both units able to do their jobs on these last 2 drives.
Joseph now to kick this one away. This is Jakeem Grant. Now a crease here as he's past the 30. The 40. 20. He will take this all the way. Touchdown, Bears. I know a lot of special teams coaches, they just want to keep it away from him because that's what he can do.
And others have egos that their players can't keep up with. And they say, challenge him, kick it to him. The way he runs as fast as he is, I wouldn't challenge him at all. I'd do everything possible to keep it away.
He is just a blur when he gets a full head of steam, and he got a full head of steam there. Now the point after try for Santos. And the lead now to 3 touchdowns at 21 points. Well, we talk a lot about explosive plays on offense. How about an explosive play on special teams? Certainly one there on the kick return for a touchdown. So now the other return teams out there as they'll try to duplicate what they just saw. Nwangu now from his end zone. And that decision to bring it out ends up not being a good one. Costs him about 5 yards as he's tackled at the 20. And the Vikings going to take over here one more time before the half. And they've got less than 30 seconds to go here, so not a lot of time to work with. A little under 30 seconds to go. We'll see how they play it here on 1st and 10. Cousins. Oh, he dropped it. And that's pretty indicative of the way this one's gone.
Well, it's easy to see when we review this that the ball needs to come out quicker, because if you don't throw it right on the break, you bring a crowd of people into the equation.
And that's why it got knocked away there. After the incompletion, they'll try once more from the 20-yard line on 2nd and 10. Here's Cousins. This to C.J. Ham, the fullback. They get 6. That'll leave them with 3rd and 4.
Makes it 3rd and 4.
So we reach halftime with the visiting Bears out on top here. As we'll send you down to Orlando, and we check in with Jonathan Coachman for our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach.
Okay, Brandon, thanks very much, and welcome in everyone to an abbreviated version of the EA Sports Halftime Report. First order of business, though. Let's get a look at the next-gen stats in that first half for Chicago. And there were a few factors as to why they built this good size advantage, but the rushing numbers were not all that amazing. We'll see if they can pick it up in the second half. Meanwhile, for the Vikings, they too didn't do a whole lot in terms of rushing efficiency in that first half, as you can tell by the numbers there.
All right, Coach, thank you, and we welcome everyone back for quarter number 3. The Vikings set to receive the second half kickoff, and they trail it here as we resume play. Fielded just outside the goal line. And up to about the 26-yard line, just across the 25.
Let's go. Take over 1st and 10.
Out come the Vikings. They'll have it first on offense as we begin the third. And you have to think, Charles, down 3 scores already. They need to play an almost perfect second half to have a solid chance.
And that absolutely starts with finding some way to put together a touchdown drive here. They need to be smart, fast, efficient, get the ball to the end zone, and do it again multiple times in order to have a chance to win this game.
Cousins and the Vikings with a 1st and 10 at their own 26. Here's a play fake as they set up to throw. He'll dump this off to Cook. And he gets this up just shy of the 30 to the 29 before he's out of bounds. 3 yards the gain there, 2nd down.
Caught that look from you there, partner. I think we're on the same page on that one. Just his first catch. I think we both thought he'd be a little more active in the passing game. Let's see if that's the start of them trying to get the ball to him a little bit more here in the second half.
It's incomplete. Took a shot, couldn't connect.
Not only did he have a chance to scan the field there, it felt like he had a chance to scan it twice. The protection was that good. Unfortunately for him, the coverage downfield, equally good.
These guys have punted 4 times already, and they're staring at a 5th, barring a conversion here on 3rd down. Working out of the gun, Cousins. Toward the sideline. Did he keep the feet in? Yes, he got them both down, says the side judge, and that's good enough for a 1st down.
Well, we talk all the time about playing situational football. Right now, I think the scoreboard is dictating what they need to do. Where they are in this game, they've got to push the ball downfield, take their shots, try and get big chunks of yardage in a short amount of time. That was a nice play there.
You got 3. Hey, we're good. Hey, no, easy.
1st down, here's the run with Cook. And he'll be taken down just shy of midfield. Give him 5 on the carry there, and it'll be 2nd down.
Brandon, 5 yards on that run. Let's get back to the huddle and make sure you're back. You spend time with your offensive line and give them credit. Hard to move those 300-plus pounders at the line of scrimmage, and they did for a significant chunk of yardage.
After the pickup of 5, here's 2nd and 5. From the shotgun, it's Cousins. Pressure, and he's taken down. A Bear sack. Akeem Hicks getting him once again his 3rd sack of the afternoon.
So one quick, easy analysis about why they've struggled so far. They keep putting themselves in 3rd and long situations. They just took another sack right there.
And the offensive film session tomorrow may be a little longer than it normally is.
Not a lot of positive grades will be handed out thus far.
Cousins with work to do after the sack as he brings his guys up on a 3rd and long.
Good routes here. Two.
They'll set up a throw. That's to Cook out of the backfield. They do get 7 out of that, but not enough to prevent a 4th down.
We can make this one pretty simple. Locked up all his progressions downfield, forced to get it to his running back. But how about the way they ran to the football and knocked him down to force a 4th down?
Here's Jordan Berry now, as he's on for the 5th time here today. And he deserves a bronze leg as he gets this one away. They call that a punt of 38 yards officially. And possession will switch hands, 1st and 10. So here are the Bears now as they get set for their first possession of the 2nd half. And on the last go-around, they really couldn't get anything going.
They had to punt from deep inside their own territory, which means you're going to lose the field position battle as a general rule. What they're looking for now is a little more consistency, move the ball at least a few times on offense, get a couple of 1st downs, and hopefully flip the field.
Yeah, just something to build off of. That's what they're looking for here. So from inside the 20, here's 1st and 10 at the 18. And Dalton to throw. And this is caught. A spectacular one-handed grab there. Not much there, only a yard.
One-handed. Love the effort. Not much production on that play, though, huh?
Not a whole lot of yardage. You get that grab, you probably want 1st down.
And he'll be the one in the film session and be saying, hey, run that one back, coach.
Yeah.
Run that one back.
One more time.
Let's see that
2
again.
more time.
And they won't.
8 more times.
They won't. Didn't get much out of it.
On 2nd down, Montgomery stopped at the 24-yard line after a gain of 5.
I think we can safely say that those types of players are the backbone of this offense. We know not every run's going to be a big hitter, but you know they'll take that type of result on each and every attempt.
So Dalton now. And this is caught. It's Jimmy Graham. And he's able to get this one up to his 30 before he's out of bounds. 3rd and 4, he did just enough, and I mean just enough to move the chains.
And that's all you're looking for, right? Just want to keep the drive moving. You don't need the big play there. Just get to that marker that you described, and he was able to do just that.
Dalton, 1st and 10. And he slides and covers up at the end as he's going to be able to pick up decent yardage. He'll get 5 out of the scramble. It's 2nd down.
Now, how about that play? He took a possible negative and turned it into positive yardage and slid down to avoid taking a big shot. Excellent job getting down and avoiding the big hit.
To throw again on 2nd down, Dalton. And he finds Montgomery complete. And he'll be stopped right at midfield.
And while we may be looking at the scoreboard, this offense certainly is not, because they're showing no signs of backing down, even with a 3-score lead here in the 3rd quarter. I think they keep taking their shots. They've seen blown leads happen throughout this league. They don't want to fall victim to it themselves.
Play action here with Dalton. And this will be caught by Mooney. And he gets it inside the 35 and just shy of the 30.
This is just more of the same. This defense has had no answer on a lot of these throws. They've let these receivers run wild, and here's another completion for good yardage.
So 1st and 10, and if they score on this drive, might have to start digging in our second half blowout material.
A give to Montgomery out of the gun. And he gets stopped up at the 31 after a gain of maybe a yard.
Yeah, things were pretty stacked up there in the middle of the line. A lot of bodies, not much space. I think ultimately he was fortunate to get anything out of that run.
The run only got a yard. Here's 2nd and 9. Dalton sets up play action. And this is going to be incomplete.
Dalton's pass from the sideline and incomplete. It's 3rd down.
The 22 is the line to gain here on 3rd down. Throwing, Dalton. And he's going to be taken down. Pressure gets there back at the 39-yard line. The D-tackle Sheldon Richardson came barreling in for the sack.
Partner, you know what I'm going to say before I even say it.
Yeah, you just cannot take a sack in that spot.
You're exactly right. You can't take a sack in that spot. Potentially now, a 3-point swing right there.
So now on comes the field goal unit, and wow, this is no ordinary try here. This will be from 56 yards out. He's got the distance, but it's no good. Wide to the right, and this score will stay right where it is.
Dalvin Cook taking the field for the Vikings' next possession.
And as the numbers show, he really wasn't in the mix at the beginning, but they've got him in rotation now, and it's proved a good move.
And that's what happens when you're a good player. There's a lot more attention drawn to you, and it's obvious that they had him in their game plan on defense, not letting him get off to a good start, but he's found a way so far here in the second half.
Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. These guys had to punt their last possession, and that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drives just wound up going nowhere.
But you know how in baseball, when the pitcher gets a base hit and he's on base, they bring his jacket out to him to keep...
And this is caught inside the 5. And he'll go out of bounds, making it all the way down to the 5. A big play there for Minnesota.
And that might be exactly what they needed to wake up this home crowd. They haven't given them much to cheer for so far, and never underestimate the effect the home crowd with you can have on a game.
Matt Nagy wants the officials to take another look at that one. He'll throw out the challenge flag. Did he keep those feet in bounds? That's the question they've got to decide. And I got to say, watching it in real time, it was awfully close.
Yeah, it certainly looked like a heck of a catch because he didn't appear to bobble it, which could complicate things. But even with the benefit of replay, that's pretty tight.
Now here's the call.
After review of the play, ruling on the field is reversed.
So Matt Nagy correct in his decision to throw the red flag.
On 2nd down, it's Cook. And this may be a carbon copy as he'll again be stopped right at the line of scrimmage. No gain on that one as it brings up a 3rd and 10.
Well done to sniff that out defensively. He had it diagnosed pretty quickly.
I love that description because diagnosed is perfect on that one. Read his keys, made the play, and he couldn't even get going moving the football.
On 3rd down, Cousins. And this is going to be incomplete.
Well, this is just a continuation of what we saw in the first half. So much for the fresh start to begin the 3rd quarter. Still off-target throws, no rhythm throwing the football, and obviously no touchdown scored in this game.
Here's Jordan Berry now, as they're forced to kick for the 6th time today. Oh, this is off the side of his foot. And this one will not be returnable as it sails out of bounds.
Let's go.
30-yard line.
The Chicago offense set to get started. And they had compiled a pretty long drive last time. Unfortunately, though, it ended with no points after the missed field goal.
And that can hurt the psyche of a team because as they drove downfield, you know you're never supposed to count points in your mind until they go up on the board. But let's face it, we've been there. We've seen teams before. They were counting on those points. They didn't get them. Can they come back now, start over again, and grind it out?
Now Dalton with a 1st and 10. Looking left side, and he's got a man. That's Goodwin. 7 yards, the pickup there.
Never make the mistake that the slot receivers, especially the little guys that they're watching here, are just quicker than fast. A lot of them combine quickness and speed, and they catch a lot of footballs, as we just saw there.
It's over. It's over. Let's dominate.
3 yards remain for 2nd down. Here's Dalton. And incomplete.
But listen, when you've got the lead, there's absolutely no sense trying to fit a ball in where you shouldn't. You can see the coaching in his head taking place on that play because he saw he had a receiver in the area, and he just put it well over his head out of harm's way.
So the incomplete pass on the last play, and that leads us to a 3rd and 3. Dalton now to pass. Throwing the out route and complete. It's Graham. And he will have the Bears' 1st down as they convert on 3rd and 3 with a nice gain of 7 yards.
The tight end is certainly a position built to move the chains because they can control space underneath. If they've got good hands, then of course they're a dynamic target. But one other thing is they're right in the sight lines of a quarterback on just about every play. And that makes it easier for the quarterback to pick him out and deliver.
First down, here's the run with Montgomery. Some tough running, but it only gets him to the 45. Tackle made that time by Dalvin Tomlinson.
Now that's a mountain of a man that just made that stop, isn't it? But he's more than that. This guy's nimble and quick. More than a space eater, he just made a great play there.
2nd and 9. Out of the gun, it's Dalton. Pressure coming from the Vikings, and they get there and bring him down. It'll go in the books as a 7-yard loss on the sack, and it's 3rd down.
It seemed like he kept going through those progressions, and I thought he might dump that underneath, but he couldn't get rid of the football in time.
And I have to wonder if he was thinking while he was back there, I wish there were a lot less progressions on this play, just someone that I can dump the ball to and get it out of my hands.
And some secondary help here for the defense in the nickel on 3rd and long. Passing, it's Dalton. He'll get this underneath to Montgomery. And he can only manage to get this to the 45-yard line. Well short of the 1st. They do get 7 out of that, but not enough to prevent a 4th down.
How about that strategy there, Brandon? 3rd down, they just said, we've got faith in our tacklers. We'll give you the short stuff, and just decided to protect the sticks. So every time I hear fans telling me tackling's not a part of the game anymore, plays like that, I can clip and save and show them you have to tackle well if you want to be a good defense.
So they're forced to punt on 4th as this one's away. Fair catch called for and made at the 16 or maybe the 17-yard line. They'll call that a 33-yard punt with no return. Now the Minnesota offense set to take over again. Cousins and the Vikings with a 1st and 10 at their own 17-yard line. Try to fire up that running game with Dalvin Cook. And he'll take this up only to about his 18-yard line. Akeem Hicks that time on the tackle.
Well, sometimes you just have to give credit to the defense. Great job there at the point of attack, holding up. They won their battles at the line of scrimmage, left him no space to try and run. A really nice job swarming to the ball carrier.
Still 9 remaining on second down. Off the play fake, Cousins. Looking sideline, incomplete.
I'm getting the sense that this offense is getting frustrated. Here we are into the third quarter, and they've had plenty of opportunities to get in sync. Thus far, that hasn't happened. They're looking for answers both on the sidelines and in the huddle looking at each other.
These guys have punted 4 times already, and they're staring at a 5th, barring a conversion here on third down. And complete, right side to Cook. And he will have a Vikings first down as they're able to get the third down conversion.
But they certainly had success throughout this contest, getting him the ball in the passing game, and there he picks up another first down. Whatever they saw going into this one, they've been able to capitalize on it, and no adjustment has been made to take it away.
On 1st and 10, Cousins. Toward the center of the field, but it's incomplete.
You can tell they wanted to get that ball downfield, but they had nothing working in the secondary, so dropped it off to the running back. That one ended up incomplete.
Glad to have you with us from Minneapolis. Third quarter here, 2nd and 10. From the gun, here's Cousins. Oh, going for Jefferson downfield. A leap, and he's got it. He got it. And he takes this thing way down into Chicago territory. A big play there for Minnesota. In today's NFL, we talk about quarterbacks and their speed and accuracy, but there's still something about a guy slinging one downfield.
And that might be just what they needed to get back in this game. Sometimes you need a big play to shake things up, get a little life in your sideline, get everyone believing again, and they got it there in a big way.
A real field flipper there as all of a sudden they've got a first down in the red zone. Another tote for the workhorse this afternoon. It's Cook. And he's brought down just outside of the 10 at the 11.
That's it, baby.
Alec Ogletree in on the stop.
Not too many offenses want to turn down long drives, but when you're down what they are, they've got to pay it off with some points.
The run got 4. Now they deal with a 2nd and 6. Again, it's Cook. And he's brought down.
Here we go. Here we go.
And they're not going to get to the line to run another play. So we will switch ends as the third quarter has come to a close. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. And we return, welcoming you back to Minneapolis. A lot of folks starting to make their way to the parking lot. Their guys trail big here to begin quarter number 4. To throw, Cousins. And they're going to get to him, a sack. Sack back at the 9-yard line. It'll go as nearly a loss of 10 on 1st and goal, so a disaster there. It goes as a 9-yard loss on the sack. Now from the 9, here's 2nd and goal. Now we've got movement up front, and I think this is going to be on Minnesota.
Expect this from the visiting team when playing indoors, but not the home team.
They're supposed to get all the advantages, right? The home crowd's supposed to help them. They forgot where they were, perhaps.
Things made a little more difficult after the false start as they try again on 2nd and goal. Cousins now. To the end zone, but it's incomplete.
We've seen that the deep ball's been a part of their game plan all afternoon, but they've had trouble hooking up on it, unable to successfully find the end zone over the top.
This likely a must-have. 3rd and goal. Cousins gives way to Cook, and he'll be taken down here at about the 11. And 3 yards on the carry there as this defense holds strong and takes it to 4th and goal. This defense continues to be good on 3rd down. I mean, they haven't allowed a touchdown offensively. Are you saying, let's go for this, let's try to get it in the end zone?
I don't know about that because of what you just described. They've been so good, and they don't give up the big play that you would expect in downs 1 through 3. Why should 4th down be any different? True. You might want to go ahead and kick the field goal and see if you can figure out something else as this game moves on.
Desperation time. Cousins on 4th down. It's caught in the end zone. Touchdown, Minnesota. D.D. Westbrook there to make the grab. And the Vikings are finally into the end zone here in this 4th quarter. So a little bit of a letdown there defensively. I mean, look, you're still 2 scores to the good, CD, but things may be a little more uncomfortable than they had hoped.
Yeah, if you kept them at the end zone there, this game's over. You've locked the door on them. Instead, it's still open a little bit, and they've got a puncher's chance.
Greg Joseph on for the extra point. And this is up and good. That'll make it a score now of 24-10. Drive that time, 11 plays all told, and it's polished off by a Viking score. Joseph tees it up to kick off following the touchdown. Grant sets to return it. And able to get this out to the 25.
Get ready, get ready, get ready.
Here's the Chicago offense coming back out onto the field. Now all of a sudden we've got an interesting game here. You just saw them go down and score a touchdown. And what was a comfortable lead at halftime, it's down to a 2-score game.
And so the obvious thought is they've got to ramp things back up again. Got to get the offense into high gear. But we've seen this before. When you've kind of been in shutdown mode for a while thinking that you're okay, it's hard to mash the gas again and have everything work perfectly. They've got to fashion together a good drive right here and now.
This defensively got to be feeling confident. They haven't allowed a point this half. And he will lose yardage and be backed up to the 24. Officially, it's a 1-yard loss. That's going to bring up 2nd and 11.
Brandon, it's clearly a running situation when you're up in the 4th quarter. They're going to have to stack the box and make it difficult for them to move the ball.
Made it very difficult right there. Now they need to repeat that effort.
Yeah, bring 7, 8, 9, whatever it's going to take to slow them down.
A loss of a yard there to start out. That leads to a 2nd and 11. They'll keep pounding here with Montgomery. After getting stuffed on 1st down, not much better there. 2-yard gain. This defense starting to buckle down when they need to, and right now they're winning this 4th quarter, losing the game, but they're winning in the 4th quarter.
And what a fine line it is about what they're trying to get done, because they're down, so they obviously need the football, need a score, but they can't be so aggressive as to give up their edge, their gaps, and have the offense hit them with a big play.
He's going to float this one deep right side. And unable to connect, incomplete. I'll give them credit, they took their shot, but it's going to bring up 4th down.
That's an excellent job right there on third down. Like any defense, you never want to let them get anything started, and that would have been a first down. Instead, you saw the contact on time, no penalty, and before this drive could get wings, it's fourth down.
On is the punt team now as this one's sent away. So possession goes over here on the punt. The Vikings head out to take over once again. Well, still a long way to go, but trending upward. They scored the last time out, you remember. Then their defense forced the punt. Now they try to inch closer, but still ultimately down 2 scores in the final quarter. Cousins and the Vikings with a 1st and 10, just shy of the 30. They'll try and start this drive in the air. And that one drops down, incomplete. Good coverage there, forced the ball free, and it's 2nd down.
They went with a dime look on defense. 2 extra defensive backs on the field and covered up essentially every blade of grass. That allowed them to disrupt the play.
After the incomplete pass, here now is 2nd and 10. Here's Cousins. And incomplete on the deep ball.
This defense was definitely alert to the possibility of the deep ball, and they were more than ready for it.
They've got the lead, 4th quarter. Maybe can expect more passes like that downfield. Now they face a 3rd and 10 after back-to-back incompletions. Now Cousins. And that is incomplete.
Intended for D.D. Westbrook.
How about some applause for the defense there? They forced him to throw that one into coverage, and just like that, they're staring at a 4th down. Well done.
Here's Jordan Berry now as he's on to punt for Minnesota. It'll be a 39-yard punt, no return, and the Bears take over. And now Chicago getting ready to go as they take the field. Well, there are 2 scores on the plus side. Still time here in this 4th quarter, but maybe you start thinking about playing keep away?
Yeah, I think here's the situation. You're not thinking touchdowns anymore. You're just thinking first downs. To keep up with your theme there, playing keep away, first downs, they can't touch the ball.
On 1st and 10, here's Andy Dalton. They'll set up the screen to Montgomery. And to the 36-yard line, taken down there after getting 8 yards.
Another nice pickup through the air, and I think a lot of people might expect them to run the ball in this situation, Brandon, but with this lead, they're electing to throw the football. Swings, slants, quick outs, things that they consider safe.
Now a give running left with Montgomery. And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. He'll lose a yard on the play, so now they need 3 yards on 3rd down.
Now that's a nice play. Got me fired up, partner. But can they do it back-to-back plays? All the training that you go through as a defense for these situations, when you have to get the ball back, everything you go through, holding up the runner, raking at the football, getting to the passer, knocking it out of his hands, whatever way, they have to get the ball back.
Now can they stand tall again for a huge 4th quarter stop? They look to throw on 3rd with Dalton. Caught by Montgomery. And he's going to lose yards. They take him down at the 26. 9 yards is the loss on the play. And it'll be 4th down.
Excuse my snarkiness here, but isn't the idea of completing a pass supposed to mean you get downfield and gain yards?
Especially on 3rd down.
Yeah, that one. How about the defense? Figured that one out in a big way. Yeah, they completed it all right and lost yardage.
Here's Pat O'Donnell now as he's on to punt for Chicago. And a fair catch called for and made just inside the 35-yard line. It'll wind up just a 35-yard punt, no return. And out will come the offense as they take over. Minnesota's offense takes over possession. Their defense was able to force the punt. That's the good news. But this is still a two-score game, and they need points on this drive and in a relatively quick manner. Cousins and the Vikings with a 1st and 10 at the 34. They'll come out throwing here to start the drive. It's complete to Cook. And he's going to get this down to the 35-yard line. A big play that time through the air. 31 yards.
A lot of running backs in the passing game, they're just used to check it down to them or maybe dump off passes. But this guy, they use him to stretch the field, don't they?
Stretched it right there, turned it into a really nice game. So that changes things a bit. Here's a 1st and 10 all the way down at the 35. Cousins. And he's got this to Jefferson. And finally down he goes as they work it inside the 10 to the 7.
Good yardage on the completion there. When they look at the scoreboard, they do understand a field goal is not going to do them any good. My guess, they're going to press the ball downfield as far as possible, try and throw it into the end zone and get a score because they know they've got to get that done and get the ball back as quickly as possible.
1st and goal, and they got to be thinking a chance to get right back into this football game. They'll run with Cook, and he'll be stopped up after only a couple of yards as he gets it down to the 5.
Every team we ever talk to that continues to run the ball in a game, even when they haven't had much success, all talks about attrition, don't they? If you keep running it, eventually good things are likely to happen. It's been a hard go in this game today, hasn't it?
Yeah, this defense, they've met pretty much every challenge in front of them this afternoon.
They're still trying to run the ball, but they're not finding much space.
2nd down and goal. Cousins. That's to Cook out of the backfield. So they'll wind up losing 5 yards on the play, and that'll make it 3rd and goal.
Well, sometimes despite the best planning, the defense actually has a plan as well, and they blanketed everyone on that play. They were able to close it down and spill in for a loss.
A lot of tired bodies on that field, but this is a big play, 3rd and goal. Throwing, Cousins. This is caught. A terrific job there to keep him out of the end zone. And now it'll be 4th and goal.
Nice completion, nice gain.
Great tackle.
Really good tackle. Kept him in bounds, kept things going. What do you do here?
That's the question. Let's see what they do. The field goal doesn't help. They're going to go for the 6 here on 4th and goal. Oh, and now movement and a whistle, and they may have to rethink their plans on 4th down. A 4th and short, had your offense out there. That one stings.
And you know something? Your options change dramatically. Not only is it tougher to go for it, but what if you decided just to line up and try and draw them off sides? If you did it on 4th and short, you could pick up the cheap 1st down. Now, you still won't get a 1st down even if you do exactly the same thing.
The field goal doesn't help. They're going to go for the 6 here on 4th and goal. Got to try it here. He's back to throw. And it's caught in the end zone for the Viking touchdown by Justin Jefferson. It's a 6-yard touchdown pass, and the Vikings have made it a one-score game again here in the 4th. Big 4th down conversion for the score, and the defense, that is a tough pill to swallow.
big time for them. How about them just deciding to go for it on 4th down? And, okay, forget the field goal, because that looked like an easy 3 points. Yeah, you might have had a defensive breakdown in there, but they pressed the issue and found a way to get it into the end zone. Give them big credit for that.
Extra point right down the middle. And now things get a bit more interesting here in this 4th quarter. Joseph tees it up to kick off following the touchdown. On the return from his end zone is Grant. And they're going to start in a hole as he's brought down at the 11. Another drive coming up for this Chicago offense. They've been asleep for a little while on this side of the football, Charles, and the score is just a one-score game now. Haven't had any points this half. What gives?
Let's go old school here, all right? Let's get back to the basics. Get back to running the football, high-percentage throws. Find the guys that eat pressure and make plays for you and make sure they touch it.
Now we're 1st and 10 at the 11. To Montgomery to begin the drive. And not much here as he'll get it to the 11, maybe the 12-yard line. Eric Kendricks in on the tackle. A tight game like this, such a tough spot for the offense to be in. Even though they have the lead, Charles, back up so close to their goal line, they got to protect the football.
And that's when you have to take care of your team with play calling as well. Not a lot of misdirection, not a lot of counters, not a lot of plays where you have extra ball handling. Get it right to the hands of your running back. Tell him to take care of the ball and try and move forward.
And he's going to go down. Back in his own 5-yard line, it's a sack. It'll go in the books as a 7-yard loss on the sack, and it's 3rd down. From the gun. It's caught on the right side by Robinson. And the tackle made at the 13. He is way short of the 1st. They get 7 there, but it brings up 4th. I hate to surrender the football when you're nursing a slim lead, but they're going to have to punt it away. Trust that defense.
It's the right play at this stage of the game as well. You don't need to press it here because you do have that little bit of a cushion, and you count on your D to make it stand up.
Here's Pat O'Donnell now, standing about a yard deep in his own end zone. That'll be a 41-yard punt, 4 yards there on the return. And the offense will take over with a new set of downs. Minnesota now ready for their next possession. And it feels like the momentum has shifted. They scored, and their defense forces that last punt. And now a chance to tie the game on this possession. Good starting field position for them here as they come up 1st and 10 at their own 46. They start the drive with Cook. And he'll just plow right into a host of tacklers. Nothing there at all, and it'll be 2nd and 10.
As usual, the hallmark of a good run defense, linebackers making plays near the line of scrimmage. Absolutely nowhere to run there.
So after the run for no gain, here's 2nd and 10. To throw is Cousins. Looking right sideline, but it's incomplete.
They're going to give out a little applause on that play. It has to go to the defense. More good work by them. They've taken away the passing lanes all game long, and you can see the frustration that it's causing because he just about threw that one into the first row.
Possibly a turning point. Big play coming. This is 3rd and long. Throwing is Cousins. Oh, going for Jefferson downfield. And that will be incomplete. Well, they weren't scared to let it fly, but it falls to the ground and brings up 4th down.
Trying to erase that deficit all at once. One big shot. He took it. Unfortunately for him, incomplete.
Here's Jordan Berry now as he's on to punt for Minnesota. Here comes Grant on the return. It'll be 37 yards there on the punt. The Chicago offense set to get started. Right now clinging to a 1-score lead, Charles, and I think operating within that 4-minute offense with a little less than 4 minutes to go applies here, right?
It certainly does, and that means the playbook is still wide open. But you are a little bit more careful about what you're calling. You want plays that are going to gain yardage, how would you say it, consistently, right? You don't need the big shots downfield, but make sure the clock continues to run. Pile up the first downs, and the goal, end the game with your quarterback kneeling down at the end, and you still have the lead.
And from the 25, they work this to the 29, a gain of 4.
Brandon, you know how many times we've done games, and at the start of the 4th quarter, we see both teams hold up the 4 fingers, 4th quarter is ours. Well, how about this drive? You saw the 4 fingers for 4-minute offense, and this offensive line has really hunkered down and established themselves.
Now, this is where they say, put the game on our shoulders, we'll lead the way, right?
No doubt about it, and let me tell you, if you're a running back, all you want to do is get behind those big fellas, have a little vision, and find some space.
And a solid way to do that on the first play of the drive there. Now here's a throw right side taken in by his tight end. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. This is something you got to be wary of defensively. I mean, just because they're in the mode of trying to burn some clock doesn't mean they won't pass it, and they got good yardage out of that one.
Yeah, and really, when you're looking at it, now they've got a fresh set of downs. Look for 2nd down. If they want to take another shot and try and loosen things up, that'd be the time to do it.
A first down throw coming for Dalton. And this will be caught by Mooney. A gain of 6 there on first. Tell you what, he's been able to put the ball in some tight spots all game long. That throw, no different.
Yeah, a lot of people would call it a gutsy type of a throw. I think he looks at it as, I can do it, so it's not that big of a deal to me, and I'm going to keep firing.
4th quarter, down to the final 2 minutes, and we've got a 1-score game. So the Bears with the football here as we welcome you back. They've got a 2nd down now as they search for a way to get this one to the finish line. On 2nd down now, it's Montgomery. And now right out of the 2-minute break, we'll get a timeout used defensively with 1:56 to go. Not totally home free yet, but it's looking good as they come up 1st and 10. They run, Montgomery. And whistles, and we're going to have another stoppage of play as they call the timeout on defense with 1:53 left. The first down run got 5. Here's 2nd and 5. They'll try and run some clock here as they keep it on the ground. And he's corralled, but not before getting it inside the 35. The Vikings going to use their 3rd and final timeout. And they'll be disappointed to have to burn one there after giving up the first down. And they'll indeed take a knee. Second and 11. Handoff comes to Montgomery. A pickup of about 3 yards as he's taken down at the 31.
I like that run right there, partner. Not the flashiest run, not the one that's going to break for big yardage, but he understands the situation. And taking care of the football, paramount, and he got it done.
Nursing that slim lead, you're exactly right. Hold on to that ball. They got to get to the 23 here on third. Dalton down to a knee, and that'll be all she wrote. Well, taking that knee, maybe just a sigh of relief. They withstood a big fourth-quarter comeback. Able to hold on, though.
Certainly looked like they had things going their way, didn't it? In the fourth quarter, they had to just hold on. As you said, furious assault on them, but they were able to get it done, take a knee, and head to the locker room with a win.
And the kick is good. So you wonder how this one might be remembered the next time these two teams meet. But until then, this game's over. A road win in the National Football League. Charles, you never take that for granted no matter who you're playing, no matter where you're playing.
You take it and you run with it. And you know you primed the pump all week in your own home facility. No one thinks we can do this. Only people who believe are right here in this room. And then you go on the road, band together, and get it done.